Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
If cowboy boots are on the holiday wish list, give the gift of Tecovas. Their Western boots for men and women are handcrafted from top-notch hides in a variety of timeless and fashion-forward styles that'll have everyone on your list saying yeehaw. Or stop by your neighborhood Tecova store, grab a cold one, and shop the finest leather and Western goods in the land. Start off gifting season on the right foot at Tecovas.com. That's Tecovas.com. Don't go gently, y'all.
Hi, this is Lori Johnson with Hancock Whitney Bank, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Visit localleadersthepodcast.com for previous episodes or for information on appearing on the show.
Challenge to running a successful business. I almost always get the same answer: employees. It's no secret finding good employees can be a daunting task for any business owner. My guest for today is a Livingston Parish resident and owner of Number One Recruiters, and he makes his business to assist you in your staffing needs of your business. So with that, welcome Clay Grant to Local Leaders of Podcast.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you letting me be here.
Oh man, it's look, you're a new business and we love promoting new businesses around here. There's no doubt about it. Right here in Livingston Parish, Louisiana.
That's it.
And so today I want to get into all the ways that Number One Recruiters can help business owners find the right employees for their business. But first I want to find out a little bit about you. Now, one interesting thing that stood out, and I want to get into this right from the beginning, is that you ran for Congress at one point. True story?
True story.
So it was in the 5th Congressional District in 2012. Tell me about that. What led to your decision to do that?
Man, I was in the I went to the Restoring Honor rally in Washington, D.C. It was something that Glenn Beck had put on.
Yes.
And I was in over millions of people there, and I just it overwhelmed me. I felt compelled when I got back home. It is time for me to do something. Somebody, and and I talked to different people, and they would tell me the same thing. They're like, why would you want to run? And I'm like, well, if not now, when? If not who? Or if not me, then who?
Right.
So, and I was like, well, let's go ahead and put our name in the hat. And it was an awesome opportunity that I got.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as a third party candidate, and I'm
That's
still,
tough.
I got, as a libertarian, running for Congress as a libertarian.
Yeah.
But we really did. We did very well. I mean, I had over 20,000 votes just for me, and I had $0 invested in this. It was just my hard work and effort that I put out there to get that.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's interesting, Clay, that the money aspect of politics and how much that makes a difference. Those guys and gals that are heavily funded, they're hard to beat. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the platform, sometimes they're hard to beat.
That's right.
Because they have the backing. So, 20,000 something votes.
I'm still the third. I had the largest third-party votes in the district.
No kidding.
To this day, yes.
Wow. Well, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, I am. I'm happy about it. Moon Griffon told me, he said, just imagine if you would have had some money backing me.
Yeah.
So that's true. I could have won.
It is very true. And fundraising in politics is one of the most important aspects of it.
That's right.
Because you got to have a bankroll, even for local politics.
That's true.
Just running for dog catcher, you better have some money in the bank. And
that's right.
Some supporters. So, wow, that's impressive. And I'm sure you learned a lot of things about kind of leadership and talking to people and all of those sorts of things through that experience.
Correct. And you wouldn't know this. Let me take you a real quick story.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know this about me, but growing up, I had a stuttering problem.
Come on.
And I'm the guy who wants to go run for Congress. So I'm just like, and I did. It took me, I just started to talk, a little bit different than most people did, but it was a mind thing. Yeah. And when I figured this out, I was like, oh, great, I got this. Now I can handle it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's overcoming an obstacle, right?
Correct.
And probably a fear when you're going up in front of a bunch of people and you're worried about a stutter issue. And I haven't noticed you. Yeah, we've talked several times. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting. Now, BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Now, prior to owning your company, Number One Recruiters, you spent 15 years in the staffing industry. Okay, you worked for a lot of large companies everybody be familiar with, but on November 6th of 2020, you decided to take the proverbial leap, as I call it, and open your own staffing agency. Now, this is something I love to get into because this is the aspect of entrepreneurs that is the most intriguing to me of everything. So take me kind of back to that. You're a guy that was working for other people, right? On my show, I say this a lot of times. You can get comfortable working for other people to the point that it becomes a crutch that stops you from doing anything else for yourself as far as your own business.
That's right.
Some people they're fine with working for other people and that's where they want to be and they're happy doing that, and you have to have that. But at the same time, it can be a hindrance to people that might be successful entrepreneurs on their own. So tell me about that decision. What was that
I
like?
come from a family that is, business owners. My father was a business owner. My uncles, my cousins. I have a lot of people in my family who I've looked up to. And that business aspect of it. And of course, like I said, when 2020 hit, COVID hit, all these things happen. You find myself unemployed again, and I'm just like, well. And now, granted, it took me a while because I was sitting there, applying for jobs, talking to different customers or different companies, and going through that process with them. And they're worried, like they're trying to figure out can we hire right now?
Yeah,
because no one knew. They were like, we're interviewing, but we're not really sure if we can bring you on.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
At that point in time, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, all right, it's time. Like I cannot continue to keep doing this way. I have to do something for myself because I can't rely on the economy or the people. COVID happens and what do you do with that? So I decided to take that leap of faith and I threw everything I had in it. And I said, you know what? This is it. This is my make it or break it. And and my determination and my mindset is that I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
This is that positive attitude that I have to have, is that this is what what I want and I will achieve it.
Wow. And you got to have that mindset to really take that jump because it's scary. I mean,
exactly. Every day still is.
It really is the premise of what even started this show, Clay, because when I started this show, that was the question that I wanted to answer every episode was what does an entrepreneur have, a business owner that just, they put it all out there, right? They take a jump as a lot of people call it, or a leap, and they have no parachute, and it's just like, man, either I'm going to survive or splat on the ground. One of the two.
Like I said, you did that song, from Chumbawamba, I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Oh, yeah.
That's my
Great
life
song.
story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be defeated. I'm going to keep getting back up. I'm going to do this.
Very good. And you got to have that attitude, listeners out there. Positive attitudes enable you to overcome a lot. Because a lot of times your success is just around the corner. Mm-hmm. It's just having enough of that push for yourself to get there.
Yeah.
And so, and I love that song, by the way. Great song. It will fire you up. There's no doubt about it. But, you picked an interesting time as well. I mean, it's 2020, right? COVID is rearing its ugly head, right? And that time frame was still before everybody kind of really knew what was going on. And you up and decide, you know what, I'm just going to open my own company, which I'm sure this was a decision that you had thought about for years.
Correct.
In the back of your head there. And it was just like, well, it's now or never probably.
And most people, and to this day, I've had so many of even my clients today, why in 2020 did you start?
Yeah, the timing is intriguing.
And I was like, you know what? I said for the first pretty much 3 months, I was starving. Yeah. Put it this way. And come the first of the year, it was almost like, all right, here it comes. And it started coming in. Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? This is the reason why I started it when I did, because I think I actually got it in at the right time. Yeah. Yeah. And I would imagine, speaking of timing, that time frame, I'd imagine the staffing industry in particular was having a lot of challenges, right? I mean, unemployment pay, the federal government was stacking a bunch of money on top of what the state already pays for unemployment. Correct. And so I would imagine it kind of made finding staff for your clients a little tougher than usual. It's still hard. And that's the reason why, like here pretty soon, I think, I want to say it's May the 11th, we're fixing to do a job fair out at North Shore Technical College. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure on the times yet. We're still hammering things out on that point. Sure. But yeah, because we're trying to engage in the community again. And we've got to make sure that we do the right things to make sure we find the people. Yesterday I was a friend of mine had shared something with me on what the governor's office was doing about these door-to-door vaccines, where they're going door-to-door. This campaign is a huge drive. Yeah. And I'm like, why don't we have the campaign going door-to-door saying, hey, guys, it's time to get back to work? Right. That's what we need to have. Yeah. That's the conversation we need to have. I agree. Casey, have you called the plumber about the sink in the break room?
Yep, they came this morning. I can't believe you missed them.
What was their name again?
Giat's Plumbing.
Wow, that was quick, and they did a great job.
They did. And when you need plumbing services of any type, give Giat's Plumbing a call. With over 50 years combined plumbing experience, the team at Giat's Plumbing can handle all of your plumbing needs. So whether it's residential, commercial, new construction, or reconstruction, give Giat's Plumbing a call at 907-6282 and get scheduled fast.
Giat's Plumbing, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. I agree. And from any business owner standpoint right now, that's been the biggest challenge, right? Is when you tack on federal unemployment benefits and state unemployment benefits, I mean, some of these guys, it's equating to about $11-12 an hour. Correct. That they're making to sit at home. You're incentivizing them to sit at home. That's right. That's right. And so it creates especially a big issue for a staffing agency, because you're out there and you're trying to find people that want to work, right? And place them in a position where you can marry that company and that employee together, so to speak. Yeah. And get a good result. So, and I'm pretty sure you've probably heard this as well, is that all across the country right now, there are businesses that are closing their doors because they can't find employees to come to work. So hopefully we're kind of on the other side of that. I think Hopefully, you never know what's going to occur, but I'm going to stay positive and say, maybe
that's right. We have to.
Side.
We've got no other choice. We got to stay positive.
That's right. Exactly right. Now, your business motto, this stood out to me as well. Your business motto is that you are not just another staffing agency.
Sounds funny, doesn't it?
I love it.
Why would you put that on there, right?
I love it. Now, I want to go into detail about that a little bit. So what separates, number one, recruiters from like a typical staffing agency?
Because I don't do what everybody else does.
Yeah.
Because as you know, there's a lot of companies out there, and I don't like to bash anybody else because guess what? Everybody has their own niche. Yeah. I'm just a little bit different.
Sure.
The way I approach things is a little bit different than some companies would, even companies that I used to work for.
Sure.
But I believe in qualify, and I'm not a temp service. I'm a temp to hire service. So I do pretty much permanent positions.
Yeah.
But the main thing for me is I want to direct employees to the company culture of that organization. So when I go in there and I meet with my clients, I'm learning every aspect of that business. I want to know everything from how they operate to their mental mindsets, how they look at people. So I can take that and go with it and then try to requalify and recruit those people that meet those goals and meet those standards.
Yeah.
That's my opportunities for them to say, here's what we got, go from there. And it's been very successful here, besides up until, people not wanting to come back to work, but that guide for this was really bringing the clientele in for me, because you're like, hey, I've heard you were recruiting for this company, you've been pretty successful with them, could you help us out? We're having some struggles. So
and they appreciate that from your client's standpoint. I'm sure that they appreciate that you kind of go that extra mile and you really are interested in their business, right, Clay? You're kind of diving into it because
it's an extension. I want to be an extension of their business. I don't want them to see like I'm just an outsider. I'm just a staffing company who's just trying to get business from them. No.
Yeah.
I want to be that partnership with that organization.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference between small business and bigger, not even necessarily large business, but bigger business is you get that attention to detail from that business owner, from a Clay that's going to go there and say, okay, tell me what you do. Tell me what your mission is. Tell me what you look for out of an employee. All of those sorts of things. So it's huge.
And the other part to my, because like I said, it's a twofold business. So on the other side of this business is my consulting firm.
Yeah.
So I do consulting for HR, recruitment and retention, employee benefits, and so forth. Because I have a degree. I received my degree in human resource management, and I've been doing this for over 15 years. So I have a kind of an understanding of how things work.
Absolutely.
And to have that outsider approach to come in and say, hey, look, I want you to look at this. Just tell me what you think. Yeah. That's what's really been helping to drive as well.
And consulting's, it's a huge thing for companies to take advantage of, because sometimes as a company, you get drawn into doing things just your way.
Correct.
And almost you can, all of us, we can almost be hard-headed to the fact that, well, this has worked for 20 years or whatever. Yeah, pick a number. And so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But life is constantly changing. People are constantly changing. Generations
are changing.
And so getting someone from the outside looking in sometimes can be one of the most beneficial things you can do, in my opinion. And you just have to have a company that is willing to accept that.
Exactly. And that's the main thing is, are they willing to accept those issues, to be able to come in and say, hey, look, I'm only here to help. Sometimes we come in to kind of critique a little bit, but it's just to help. It's not to negate anything. It's to really just kind of finite and tune into what your organization is really needing. Yeah. The needs of it.
Yeah. And the critiquing is important, because the last thing you want to do is have somebody come in and you say, okay, I want you to tell me what I'm doing right and wrong. And this person comes in and they say, well, you're doing everything right. That's no business is doing everything right. But I've had a lot of business owners sit down in this chair, and I have one in particular tell me at one point, he said, the best advice he can give another business owner is figure out what you're really good at and then highlight that for yourself. And that's kind of your mission in your business. But don't be arrogant and think that you're good at everything, because if you discover something you're not good at, hire someone good at it to
That's
do
right.
it. Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
There was a phrase that I used to use years ago where it was this: the people aren't your most important asset. The right people are.
Ooh, I like that.
That's the main
Listen to
core
that.
behind it.
People, write that down. That's great.
And that's the other part of that about that is too, is that for me, like I said, when people talk about how you operate, how you do things, and I'm like,
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
growing up, I remember my grandparents used to always tell me this, and it's always kind of stuck in the back of my head. It was to do the common thing uncommonly well.
Yes, I like that too. Yeah, man, you're full of good puns. I should have
comes
brought
from
my
my
pen and
family,
paper. This is great. Well, and all of that leads me to something I want to quote from your questionnaire. So, when I asked you about a general recognition your company has received, you answered like this, and I want to make sure I quote this correctly. My reward is not really about the accolades. My reward is when an employee calls me to thank them, or calls them to thank me, something like that, Clay, for an opportunity, or when a client tells me how much they appreciate my business putting so much hard work into their business. I'm a firm believer in the phrase, and here it comes, undersell and over deliver. That's a great phrase. Right. And that is, if I'm hiring a staffing agency, that's what I want. I want someone that says, I don't want to knock their heads off on cost, I guess you could say. And I want to make sure that they feel like they got way more than their money's worth.
Exactly. And I learned that from an old regional manager of mine who's no longer with us anymore. And he used to always tell me that. He says, you go in there, he says, you don't sell them the moon.
Yeah.
You go in there, you tell them exactly what to expect. And then at the end of the day, you just supersede it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it is, it's That's customer service. It is 100% customer service when it comes to that. And that is it. And when I go in there, they all already kind of understand the business. They already understand the staffing industry. So when I'm going in there, it's nothing new to them. Yeah. It's what I can do differently than my competitors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another thing too. I don't know if you remember this one or not. When I was talking about my competition.
Yeah.
And this was, like I said, the great information and infinite wisdom that I've received over the years came from this man, my old boss. And he would always tell me, he says, stay in front of your competitors' clients more than your competitors.
Yes. Ooh, I like that too. Yeah. And that's probably some of the best advice you could ever get. I've been in sales a long, long time, and
yeah,
stay
in front of them.
Oh yeah. And you you constantly have to go after new business, no matter what industry you're in, because things happen. You can get comfortable with we'll take your business, for example. Let's say, you had a giant client that you were constantly sending these employees to, and they were your bread and butter, right? And you want to take care of those people. It's important that you take care of those people, but sometimes people can get so drawn into taking care of that one customer that they're kind of resting on that laurel.
Correct.
And what happens if that customer just closes?
Yeah.
And then you have nothing. And so if you're not constantly going after new business, you end up in a situation where you have no business.
and
that's
Jim,
not
I've
good
had clients tell me, like, Clay, I see you more than I see the girl that I'm currently using. And I'm just like, is that a good thing?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So let's get more in depth into the services that you offer at Number One Recruiters, because everybody out there listening, and obviously they have a general interest in what we're talking about right now, and hopefully there's some companies out there in Livingston Parish that have been looking for a staffing agency that are going to get something out of this that will really benefit both parties, right?
Correct.
So I want them to know the services you offer and get the way I want to break this down. Let's break it down as if somebody has no idea what a staffing agency does. What is a staffing agency? Give me a rundown and the benefits that you would say of hiring Number One Recruiters.
Gotcha.
Tiffany C-Card with HomeKey Mortgage combines the experience and knowledge you need to make your mortgage loan a smooth, stress-free process. Reach out to Tiffany for more information on the vast mortgage programs available in the Livingston Parish area. Tiffany C-Card of HomeKey Mortgage, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
And this is the one thing that I love to talk about the most, is because, granted, when you're looking at staffing, like I said, it's like an extension of your company.
Yes.
So if you reached out to me and you said, Clay, hey, I really need some people, but I don't understand the process. I don't understand how this works. What do I do?
Yeah.
So you come to me with those issues. All right, first of all, I'm going to lay it out to you. Here's what we do. As a staffing organization, I provide you with the quality personnel that your company needs fit to your company culture, number one.
Yeah.
Okay. How the setup is. You come to me, we have a little small application, just a basic credit app, just to get your basic information in there.
Okay.
Once we get everything out, I go and I talk to you about your business. What are your needs? What are your pain points? What are the things that you're looking for? And you'll go through there and you'll tell me, let's just say, I need a sales guy, or I need a counterpart salesperson,
Yeah.
Okay, great. What are their job duties? I need to know every intricate detail of that business, because from that point on, guess what? I got to take that. Now I got to get it to my underwriters.
Yes.
So because I want to make sure that I'm doing the right business. I do the right business, the smart business. That's what I focus on. Because a lot of companies, they'll just tell you, oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, yes. Here's what your rates are going to be.
Yeah.
No, I'm finite with it.
Yeah.
I want to be able to give you the right workers' comp code that's going to cover this position for them. So once I get that information back from my underwriters, I present them with the quote for this. That present it to them, give them that information, and then hopefully from that point on, it's like, okay, great. When can we start?
Yeah, and it's also important to mention that you're also getting that information so you can make sure you find the right person.
Correct.
If the guy that you're hiring at the staffing agency doesn't ask a whole lot of questions, or gal, there's probably something wrong that you might want to question, because if they don't know enough about your business, they don't know who to put in the place for your business. Yeah, a parts puller is a parts puller, I guess, but Clay has a lot of care in who he's putting with you, because the culture matters.
Correct.
And he wants to make sure there's a good fit, because, like you said earlier, you're temp to perm. That's your niche, and that's where you want to be. And you want eventually this person to leave you and go to work for these people full time. And so it's very important that Clay would understand the culture. So that is something that I would say separates you. Now, some of the benefits of hiring a staffing agency, and we talked about this kind of when we met originally, was the cost of training an employee, hiring an employee, just the stuff you don't see. I call those hidden costs.
Correct.
So time, right? Time is the biggest cost to a business owner, and successful business owners recognize this. It's not a cost where you're writing a check for your own time, right? Typically. But it's a cost in that you're making an investment in somebody. That's
right.
You have insurances. You have all these things. And what if this guy doesn't work out for whatever reason? Yeah, if you hire him yourself, you spend all this time, you've done background checks, drug tests, all these sorts of things. And then 3 weeks later, he doesn't show up to work.
That's right.
So where a Clay really comes into to play there, and number one recruiters, is y'all do a lot of the screening yourselves. I mean, basically these people work for you to work for them. You're screening these folks. Do you handle the drug test?
Drug testing, background checks, everything. Yeah. And see, that's like, the normal cost for hiring an employee could be anywhere between $4,000 to $6,000, and that's including from the time you start sourcing and recruiting to posting jobs to the final
$4,000 to $6,000.
$4,000 to $6,000 to the final finish, where they're like after the training and everything else. And then normally within that time frame is whether whether that person is going to either work out or stay with the company. Yeah. Well, the good thing about using a staffing company is if you work through that, now we're the ones who take all the liability out of it. Yeah. So we're responsible for, the unemployment costs, the workers' comp, the insurances. We're the ones that's, in charge of all that now. Yeah. So that alleviates that additional cost that could be incurred upon that client. Right.
Right. And if you're a business where maybe you don't have a huge staff, let's say you've got a small staff and you would come in really handy, because the business owner or the business owner's right-hand person, they're not going to want to have to deal with all this extra stuff that maybe they're, just getting off the ground and they don't understand all the laws with regard to workers' comp and all those sorts of things. Well, you take the pain out of that.
Exactly. And I love small businesses. Those are the best ones to deal with.
Absolutely. Me too. Me too. Yes, I agree 100%. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, and that is the industries that you really like to deal with. And I'm sure all of them you like to deal with in one way, shape, or form. But we did talk about one industry that in particular that's kind of tough right now to get people, and that's the transportation industry.
Correct. That is the hardest one, man.
Why do you think that is right now?
The competition. Think about it. Even during COVID, who was still working? Yeah. All them truck drivers are out there on the road. Yeah. They were still pushing it out there. And that's the reason why, because the competition is so fierce right now in the transportation industry with sign-on bonuses. Huge. And, they're just doing so many hours. You can't go to ZipRecruiter or Indeed or any job board and you type in drivers. If you can't tell me, you won't find 20 to 30 positions in your local town for drivers. Yeah. Take it from someone who's in manufacturing.
It is hard right now to even get freight in a reasonable amount of time. Mm-hmm. Extremely hard. And it's not because the freight companies are just totally dropping the ball. It's because there's no drivers to get it there. Mm-hmm. They're struggling to pick things up.
A lot of people aren't going to go into that field anymore. You have a huge market of people who actually are drivers, because you can tell, you get on the interstate, what it used to tons of trucks are on this road. Yes. But it's the people who are going into that field. Yeah. They're not looking to go out there and get their Class A license. Yeah. So it's an education thing. We have to educate them, because these guys can make really good money.
Really in this industry. Good money. Yes, I agree 100%. And the interesting thing is, I have this conversation a lot with people, and college is pushed by parents, right? I'm a parent. I've got 3 children. Well, they're almost adults now, and I'm no different, and I push college. And yes, college is extremely important. There's some people that they're just not a fit for college. It had nothing to do with brains. Maybe they just, they're people that aren't.
They're hands-on
people. Yes. And we don't push trades enough. We don't push things like a welder. How much money do welders make, right? Mm-hmm. Tons.
HVAC.
Pipe fitters, truck drivers. These people are making 6 figures easy, and you don't necessarily have to have a college degree to do it. And there's, in a truck driver's situation, you're seeing the world, man. I mean, the country, you're all over the place.
I came from an industrial setting, so I know what these welders and fitters and carpenters.
Yes.
I mean,
carpenters, painters.
What they're making. There's a good living in there. And that's why we have to start pushing that trade.
It's
good living. You get to go into that trade school. And I tell my kids, and believe it or not, I tell my son all the time, and I got 2 boys, and I tell them all the time, I say, there's 2 things you have an option to do. Granted, he says, college, if you want to go to college, that's great.
Yeah.
I'll back you 100%.
Absolutely.
I said, but 1 or 2 things will happen. You'll either go to trade school or you'll join the military.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and you're like, okay, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost, because there's a lot of kids graduating from college right now. And trust me, we're not slamming college here.
No,
we,
not at all.
We love college. College is great. But the issue is they're getting degrees and things that they cannot apply in the real world. Or if they apply it, it generates absolutely no income, and they end up paying student loans for the rest of their life, for something that makes $30,000 a year or something like that. William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast. So have that conversation with your kids, and if you have a child or a young adult and he seems like he'd be good military material, there's nothing wrong with that. Love it.
Amen.
We love our military. And if it's someone that, to me, the trades is. Hey, it's Jim Chapman reminding you that if you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. 1, it's free. 2, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. 3, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's really everything you need to make a podcast in only one place. It makes it easy, folks. So do me a favor, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Where you raise your entrepreneurs. These are the people that figure out when they're a truck driver that, hey, I can start a big hotshot company right now and be my own boss and make a ton of money, which you can right now in hotshot, and I'm sure.
Well, just look here locally. Look at Chris Ferreira.
Yeah,
I mean, look what he built. He
Ferreira
started off. He was like, I'm just
apparatus.
going to go build a fire truck myself, and he built an industry.
Yes,
that's
Great
trade.
point.
It's all about trade.
Yes, it really is. So that's something I hope people get out of this. And like I say, I've always believed that trades open the door to entrepreneurship. Period. When you jump into corporate America, you get stuck there sometimes, and there's a place for that and all of that. But look into those trades maybe too.
Well, thank God for our schools here. I mean, look at all the everywhere, pretty much all Livingston Parish schools.
Yeah,
here in Walker, Denham Springs, everywhere else, all the trade classes that they've got.
Oh yeah, I mean Walker High has a tremendous trade program there. in particular, and they also have like the STEM Center that Denham Springs High has. These are all, interesting things, and they really make these kids think of other things they can do in life other than go to work on Wall Street.
That's right.
And those sorts of things. So let me ask you this, with regard to some of the misconceptions you faced, right? Since you have owned your own business, you stated the assumption that a smaller staffing agency cannot compete with a larger one, be it cost, productivity, etc. Now, how do you overcome that?
You know what? That's my biggest and toughest part of this, is because I am in a very competitive market.
Yeah.
Staffing is very competitive, and there's a lot of companies around here.
Right.
So how can I first of all stand out above them? Well, I have to work literally 10 times harder than they do.
Yeah.
As a small business owner, what do you think I'm doing 24/7?
Working. Yes.
I don't stop. These guys can go to work 8 to 5, get off work, not have to deal with it, have the weekends off. Clay's sitting at home working 24/7, Monday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Just the other day I was it was either Saturday or Sunday, and I was messaging one of my clients, and she told me, she was like, "Do you ever take off? Like, why are you working on a weekend?" I'm just like, because that's what small businesses do.
That's right.
We don't stop until we get it done.
That's right.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And, hard work will overcome just about anything.
That's right.
You work hard and you put time into your business that you feel like it deserves, and you will see a result. Sometimes it's not as quick as we want,
Hard work, drive, and determination.
That's right. Those are 3 things that are very important. So please, listeners, don't get a misconception just because it's not maybe a very large staffing company that we won't mention, but the names, doesn't mean that they can't place you. As a matter of fact, I would rather do business with a smaller number one recruiters because of what we talked about earlier. You're going to get that attention to detail, right?
Exactly.
And you're going to,
it's a personal relationship. I said that's the key to it, is that one-on-one personal relationship that you have with your clients.
Yeah, it's huge. And you pick up the phone, you talk to Clay, you talk to the owner.
That's right.
Right? You're not talking to the, someone 5 people down the line when you're maybe frustrated about something, or you're looking for something, can't find it. You're going to talk to Clay.
Yeah, that's right.
That's huge. So check that out. Now, let's talk about the lack of engagement from the workforce. Do you see this improving, and what are some things you're doing to overcome that? I know one of them we talked about was job fairs.
Correct. As far as the idea that is it improving gradually, and it is just, and that's just from over the past few weeks. We're actually starting to see a little bit of a growth when it comes into finding more people coming in to the workforce.
Yeah.
The only other issue is that with all the unemployment that's been coming out, I believe they've extended it until I think September.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah.
So there's still a little bit of a what if, like, all right, is this really going to be what's going to hinder us to keep finding good quality people?
Yeah.
Because I probably interview 50, 60 people a week at least.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. And I may only have really just a handful that I'm like, I can utilize.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's about that company culture. I got to find the good people.
Yes.
So as we start to kind of branch out into the marketplace, doing these job fairs, we've got to get the community involved. And it's not just like people like us. It's the employers, it's your local and state representatives, it's your parish presidents, all of them. We have to start coming out and speaking about this, because your businesses are suffering.
Yeah.
And we have to address this issue immediately.
100% agree. And, that's the other side of COVID that maybe some people didn't see, is the effect that it had on the workforce and all those sorts of things. And, it's interesting. I'll use the Chamber, for example. The Chamber does an expo every year at Livingston Parish Chamber of Commerce, and they have a job fair that's tied in along with that. And they'll, if you have a booth there, they'll say, if you're hiring, let us know, and we'll kind of put that out too. and all those sorts of things. Of course, everybody, every business owner is always looking for good people. I mean, there's no doubt about that, but it would be a great opportunity for like a number one recruiters to, that's a great job fair type atmosphere for them to be in. The problem is after COVID hit, there were no job fairs, right? Correct. There were no expos.
We couldn't go nowhere. We had to stay at home.
You weren't even allowed to talk to people.
Exactly.
Except for over the phone or behind glass.
That's right. This is ridiculous.
Felt like we were at the bank every day.
And you know what? I'm proud of states like Texas or in Florida who are actually out there doing, hey, let's get back to work, people.
Yeah.
We need to do that here. And if we can all come together on this, I promise you we could build something up to where we can have everybody engaged and get the community involved.
Yeah, I agree 100% because, especially in your business, those job fairs are important. That's where you kind of find your people. I'm sure people reach out to you every day and, hey, man, I'm looking for a job. Now, one thing I will say, and Number One Recruiters has a Facebook and all those sorts of things, is I kind of piddled around your Facebook a little bit, and y'all do a good job of posting, what you're looking for right now and things like that. How important is technology to your business?
Oh, about 100%.
100%.
Believe this or not, I granted, and I post on pretty much all the major websites, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, all those.
Yeah.
Facebook has actually been a lot better for me to post my jobs for finding more people.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been just rampant getting.
And you know
there.
why I think that is? This is just,
everybody's on their phone.
Period. And everybody goes to Facebook. Believe it or not, I had a gentleman in here day before yesterday. We did a podcast, and he owns a company called Black Sheep Creative. And so they can, he's a genius on Google, right? And all those sorts of things. Yeah, he's awesome. And so this, we were going over stats as far as the top search websites and stuff. And of course, number one was Google, like everybody would think. But number two was Facebook. I found that number two was YouTube, and then Facebook at number three. So I find that interesting, but I think that you see a great result on that because people are always on Facebook also in particular, right? So,
and don't get me wrong, I would love to post to YouTube, but they banned me.
Yeah. So
I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be on there, but you're going to be going through my outlets. So
there we go.
We'll trick them. But I bring that up because, an important thing to mention here is that that's another benefit of Number One Recruiters is if you're a business owner and you contact Number One Recruiters and you say, I'm looking for a parts puller, Clay is going to handle that media aspect of that. So the business owner doesn't have to, because they don't have time for that. Unless they have a podcast, they don't have time for media, right? So so they don't want to fool with that. So Clay's doing that job for them. How much is that worth? You know what I mean? That's a huge benefit.
From humble beginnings in 1989, Big Mike's has long been a place for friends and family to gather for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Big Mike, Jocelyn, and their friendly staff invite you to come in and relax in one of their spacious dining areas, or watch a game on one of the big screen TVs. Big Mike's is a place to meet old friends or make new ones. Big Mike's offers daily and nightly specials, and they specialize in serving up delicious and fresh menu items. Big Mike's offers a catering menu for large groups and has private party rooms for up to 100 guests. Whether you're planning a quick lunch or a large family dinner, or just a night out with friends, Big Mike welcomes you to experience a great time. And don't forget to grab some t-shirts, caps, or koozies in the gift shop. Oh, or a bottle of Big Mike's Honey Dijon. It's delicious. Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill. We're kind of a big deal.
It's very valuable, and especially to the small business owner. Because like I said, they don't have that time or the resources. They're focused on their business. The hiring process is totally different.
Look, I know business owners that don't even have, now they'll have a business Facebook, but they don't even have a personal one because they ain't got no time to get on it. And they're like, the people I want to see, I already see. You know? Right. So, I don't need to Facebook them. But so Clay does all that for you. Another big benefit of dealing with Number One Recruiters. Now, give me a rundown, Clay, of the type of employees you're always kind of on the lookout for in in relation to industries?
Every day, all day. Class D drivers, chauffeur's license.
Which is what? What is Class D?
The chauffeur's license driver.
Okay.
So they're driving like a box truck or like a flatbed, just regular pickup truck.
Yeah.
You know?
So it don't have to be a limo, in other words.
No, it doesn't have to be a limo. But you need Class D drivers. We need production operators. We need packaging technicians. Maintenance technicians. Pretty much a little bit of everything as far as in the manufacturing field.
Yeah.
We're looking for it.
What is now a packaging technician? What do they do?
Packing techs, they take the product off of the assembly line and they package them into the boxes and stuff like that, and then they put them on pallets and they palletize it and then they get ready to ship it off.
Like UPS would use and people like that.
Like one of my clients, like Podpack International, who has this assembly line process where they're getting the coffee pods and they're taking it off the line, putting it in the boxes.
People still do that.
Oh man, it is, and it's a great. I love that facility over there. They have that thing running smooth.
Awesome! Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Great work there. Now, and Class D, so that's not just a regular driver's license. That's kind of a sticker you get with that, I guess.
Yeah, it's just it's like I said, it's above a Class E. It's a little bit more intricate, but it's not like you're going for a CDL license.
Yeah.
So it's just a Class D chauffeur's license. Yeah.
Now, let's say I'm a listener to this, and I'm ready to get a job, right? And I have a Class D license, and I'm like, oh, I got one of those. Clay's looking for me. What should I do?
Call me immediately because I need somebody.
You can place them, right?
I can place them right today,
right off the bat.
Yes.
Okay, so you hear that. So he just named off some industries in particular, but even if he didn't name one, I mean, you're probably always on the lookout for good people for many different.
Correct. And like I said, and it could be anything from, like I said, industrial type work. It can be, in the manufacturing type field. It can be clerical, administrative.
Yeah. So
everything.
professional folks. I mean, if you're a secretary and maybe your company shut down due to COVID and you're looking for something else, Clay can place you. You don't have to have a Class D license.
That's exactly. Like I said, we do it all. We get it all. We'll do it all.
There you go. So be on the lookout. Get in touch with Clay if you're looking for a job of any type, and let him see if he can find something for you. He probably has a list a mile long waiting on you. So another quote by you that I want to mention. You were full of good quotes in your questionnaire. I asked you what you look for in a leader, and you stated leaders should possess courage, clarity, integrity, passion, and most of all, humility.
Exactly.
Now, the word passion, this is interesting, comes up almost, if not every episode of my podcast. But I want to ask you, how passionate are you really about your business? How much passion you got for it?
I wouldn't have done what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for the passion that I had for it. I love this business. I love the opportunities I have. I love the people that I get to deal with. I love the communication I have when an employee walks into my door and I'm talking to them. Those are the things that I look for. Those are the things that wake me up every morning to make sure that I'm just like, all right, and this is how I see this. Whose life can I help today?
Yeah.
Who can I benefit
yeah.
from what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's my idea. Like I said, I'll reach out to my clients, call them up. Hey, just checking on you. Everything okay? Do you need anything? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Just to kind of build that up. And that's that drive that I have, and that love for what I do, because like I said, when my clients are telling me all the time, hey man, we appreciate you. We appreciate your hard work. We appreciate what you're doing. That fills me. Like I said, that's that.
Money can't do that.
Money can't do that.
Right.
Like I said, God has truly blessed me in this field right now, and I am going to continue to keep doing it and can continue to be being successful at it.
Man, I'll tell you, I love your attitude, brother. That's what you look for out of people is that passion, and you want to help people that you see passion out of. I go out of my way to buy from people that I feel like.
And I really love the passion of it. The passion of this job is excellent to me. The one that really sticks out to me the most is humility.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a very humble person.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that, like I said, when I talk to my clients and stuff, I understand their needs.
Yeah.
Because their needs now become my needs.
Yeah.
And that's how I separate myself from my competitors. I want to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. And I do believe in that. When you humble yourself before God and everything else, and all these things will manifest into you. I have literally walked out of my dad's house, had a phone call, and one of my clients was telling me, he's like, hey, we're having a hard time trying to find somebody. And I was like, look, give me some ideas of who I can look for.
Yeah.
And he told me, I looked at my dad, I said, by the time I get to my house, by the time I get to my house, I'm going to have a candidate that just applied for this job.
Yeah.
And I spoke it into existence.
Wow.
The minute I walked into my office, I sat down, pulled it up, and there he was. Exactly what he said that he would accept and look for, and there it was.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, if you're in the market to purchase a home or sell your home, then Tricia Johnston of Ladder and Bloom Realty can assist. With over a decade of experience in the area, Tricia's vast knowledge of real estate makes her the perfect realtor to represent you. For more information, Tricia can be reached at area code 225-754-2000 or via her website at triciajohnston.com. Tricia Johnston, building a strong foundation of trust, one home at a time. And you said it, man. Humility is huge. I have something on the horn of my car, a piece of paper. It says "Stay humble," and the reason I put that there is because sometimes we can get wrapped up in even our success, right? And let me tell you, if you're the problem with not staying humble is you never think there's room for improvement.
That's right.
And the second that I don't care who you are or what you do, you can be the president, you could be, a podcast host, whatever it is. The second you think there's not room for improvement, you will watch how far you fall. It's a fact. Stay humble, people.
That's right.
And I remind myself of that every day, 10 times a day when I get in that car. Humility is huge, especially for the business owner, right?
Even getting back to the whole humble thing, and like I had told you before, every day in my house for years, I have woke up to this portrait that I have in my house, and it never really resonated with me until. Yeah. And then it's, from Rocky VI.
Yes.
When Rocky was, out there talking to
favorite
his son.
quote of all time.
Yeah, life ain't sunshine and rainbows. It's a mean, hard, nasty place out there, and it'll beat you to your knees if you let it.
Yeah.
That's
and if
the whole.
You know what you want, go out there and take it.
Like I said, you have to. You get up. Life's going to knock you down. Nothing's going to hurt you and hit you as hard as life does. Right. But it's not how hard you can get hit, or how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
That's right.
That's how it is. We have to, and that's the focus that I have to have.
Yeah, that's right. And life's tough. Life's tough. I don't know of anybody who's went through life and not been knocked down. No matter how privileged you are.
Yeah. There's billionaires out there who's had to struggle time and time again,
And most billionaires, they've been through the ringer.
Exactly.
I mean, and you always see somebody kind of at the top. And the assumption, if you don't know that person, is it came easy to them. Mm-hmm. There's very few people at the top that it came easy to.
Fail until you succeed.
That's right. I love it, man. That's exactly right. Now, you pride yourself on being a temp to perm agency. We talked about that earlier, but let me give you a scenario. I'm going to give you this, and this is for the listeners out there so they'll know, should they call, should they not call.
They should
say
call.
They should call. Say I'm Dillard's, okay? I'll use Dillard's as an example, and I'm closing a store, and I need 20 guys to work for 3 weeks just for the tear down of that store. That's all I'm really looking for. Would that be something you would want the opportunity to staff?
Primarily this, no, because like I said, I am more of a temp to permanent type position. But it's not to say that company, Dillard's, can't call me and say, hey, this is what I'm needing for. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
Because I have connections.
That's right.
I will help you out.
Great.
To this day, I have employers call me up. Hey, can you do this? No, sir, I can't, but I know someone who can.
That's right.
Let me, and I
So you want to help.
I'm big help. I want to help.
Yeah,
If I can't do it for them myself, I know somebody who will.
That's right. So look, as long as you've been in the industry, I mean, you got connections,
I got
right?
connections.
He's got the hookup, as the kids say. So, reach out to him anyway. He may not staff it personally, but he will certainly put you in touch with who can. No doubt about it. So, how important, we touched on this earlier too, but I just want to hammer it down. How important would you say staying positive regarding business ownership is, especially during these times?
During these times, it's
doubly important.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Doubly important for this.
Yeah.
Because, and I keep telling my clients, yes, there are some struggles. There are some things right now that we, as individuals, we cannot control. We can't control the COVID. We can't control the unemployment. We can't control these things. There are only certain things that we can control.
Yeah.
So we are doing our due diligence to make sure that we're finding and providing, the quality people that they need.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's taking us to think outside the box.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there's a lot of things that we're doing. We're benefits that we're trying to push out there. So there's some opportunities out there, but we always stay positive and we stay focused.
Love it.
We got to focus on the end game. What's our end game? And our goal is to get here. And we've got to make sure we provide that for them. And that's what I said. I stay positive enough for my clients, even when they're not 100% as positive as I am. They're just like, all right, Clay, we're putting it into you. I'm just like, I got this. I'm gonna focus on this for you.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's awesome. Now, another interesting side note about you is that you actually have been working on your own podcast.
Oh,
yes. It's entitled Louisiana Life and Liberty. Love that name. Tell us a little about
Find
that.
us on Facebook, Louisiana Life and Liberty.
Look it up.
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
My main goal behind this was to talk about pretty much all things Louisiana, and I want anything that's going to affect us, whether it's economical, anything from governments coming down, any kind of things that are going to be affecting Louisiana in a sense. Mm-hmm. But even like some of the things that are going on right now. Look at what's going on in Port Fourchon. With those men out there who are, that they're still searching. Yeah. Those are things we need to educate the community. And believe it or not many people are talking about that.
No.
So, those are the things I want to talk about. I want to discuss. I want to put it out there so that, people can have a place to come to for all things Louisiana.
I think it's a great idea. I think, coming from another podcaster, I think it's a great idea for you to do that, run with it. I think you'd see a lot of success. And I do want to note that one of our subsidiaries in Vision Podcast Studio Rentals can assist you with that, Clay, if you are so inclined.
I might be coming here to come rent some of this information over here and come do it.
Excellent.
Over here.
Hey, man, we'll take care of you. Now, I want to hammer down this last quote you said in regard to your business. You said this: I make it a point to recruit and qualify according to the needs of the business I'm providing staffing for. I do everything possible to ensure the staff I send will mesh with the organization's culture. That's a great way to sum up what Number One Recruiters does.
I can't drive it home enough. I don't know what else
Yeah, I mean, you can't say it any better than that, man. I don't even need employees. I'm ready to hire 6. Fantastic. And that's something, listeners out there. Hopefully, we got some. I know I've got a lot of friends that own some pretty large small businesses here, and so reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with Clay. Whatever you want to do, but Number One Recruiters they're good people. Clay's going to give you personal attention that you're probably not going to find a whole lot of places.
That's right.
And he's hungry. He's ready. You can't give him enough business right now. He wants it all.
Yeah, I'm the eager beaver. What do you need me to do for you?
That's right. So let's make sure, if you know people, if you're a listener and you know people that are in need of staff, please send them Clay's way. And let's make a difference in his business's life upcoming. Now is the time, more than ever, to support local business. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom is working hard to use made in the USA products for all their clients' window coverings. Schedule your appointment today for a consultation on Roman shades, drapes, shutters, outdoor sunshades, and even woven woods. Need a virtual appointment? No problem. Call Elisa at area code 225-955-1135. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders. the podcast. Now, some fun facts on you. We do fun facts on this show. And this is just something kind of people to get to know you a little outside the business, because we spend an hour talking about the business, right? So when I asked you what you would be if you were not in the owner of a staffing industry, you answered a singer.
Yes,
so you're a good
did.
singer?
I used to be.
I'm not gonna make you sing, but that's a talent, man. And you know what kind of music?
Anything. I went from gospel to country.
Come on,
a little bit of anything.
Oh man, there you go. Well, you got a great voice, and that's something. You know, we were talking about it. I had him in and let him kind of try out the equipment. Clay has a great voice for podcasting, and he has probably a great voice for singing. You know, it's probably all kind of
maybe
related.
one day we'll hear that singing voice.
Maybe so. Also, your favorite movie, Secondhand Lines. I like that movie as well.
Could you? I know that's like,
not a ton of people remember that or have watched it, but that's a great movie.
Two old men out there on the porch all day long. Like,
Haley Joel Osment, I think it was, starred in that. Yeah, so good movie. Now, if you owned a yacht, you name it the SS Minnow, and hopefully it would not end up with the same fate. But I love the name.
My reference to Gilligan Island.
Yeah, absolutely. The best purchase you ever made, your home. Very good. And if you could only buy one stock, you would choose Amazon. I would say yes, you would be safe with that choice. Amazon is the evil empire. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, they ain't going nowhere. And you know, I give Amazon a hard time because you know, in a lot of ways they do pull away from small business. They've just made it so daggum easy to shop online and get it, you know, in a couple of days. But I will say that, you know, that guy started out as a small bookstore online, and what he has done, Jeff Bezos, is simply amazing. I don't agree with his politics per se, and those sorts of things, but I will give credit where it's due. And look, he built a monster, did he not?
And anything is possible. Jeff Bezos is proof of it.
Yes, I mean, a bookstore online.
You remember Amazon? It was books.
Yes, I remember. I'm old enough that I can remember saying, when I wanted to get a book online, that's where I would go. Amazon. Yeah. Never looked at it for shoes or clothes or anything. It was just books at one point.
9 times out of 10, everything else you need.
Yeah.
Heck, if you want a casket, you can buy a casket from Amazon.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. I appreciate you joining us today on Local Leaders, the podcast. Believe it or not, it has been 57 minutes, Clay, that we've been running our mouths up here all about your business. And I think some people really got a good grasp of what you do and who you are today. So we appreciate you joining. Y'all check out this guy as he attempts to fill the staffing needs all over Livingston Parish and the surrounding areas. Now, Clay, everyone's heard about the great services you offer and, all these great things about number one recruiters, but how can they get in touch with you? Like Facebook, you got a Facebook?
I do have a Facebook. We are on Facebook at N1R, and it's number one recruiters. So you can type in at N1R, the at symbol. Okay. You can also go to our website, which is www.numberonerecruiters.com.
There you go.
Or you can call me directly, 225-300-6919.
He can answer any questions you got on anything to do with your staffing needs. And if you're a person looking to get staff somewhere, he can also answer those questions as well. Right. So check him out. And as we discussed, he does post needed positions, immediately and stuff like that. So you can, like it on Facebook and it'll pop up every day as he posts. I do need to mention, Clay, and you're familiar with these folks, Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, hosted by Woody Overton, will be holding their second annual Crew Bash at the Texas Club on June 19th, and we're going to be giving away some tickets. Woody Overton, along with his promotional genius wife, Cindy, will be on Local Leaders, the podcast, on the 29th this month, Clay. So we'll be drawing a winning name for 2 tickets, and actually I'm going to let them draw it. And also Chase Tyler will be performing a concert at the Texas Club on that date. So I want to let the listeners know about all that. I want to thank everyone out there for viewing and listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social media as we strive to shine a spotlight on people like number one recruiters sitting right across from me every day. Thank you to our sponsors, Premier Credit Corporation, Tricia Johnston Realtor, Big Mike, Sports Bar and Grill, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance, Sporting Center, Black Sheep Creative, SR Enterprise Painting, Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom, Giot's Plumbing, Tiffany Seacard of Home Key Mortgage, Buddy's Barbecue, and iTrade Exchange. We could not do any of this without all of you. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman reminding you, love your community, support local business like you, and keep leading. Thank you very much. Local Leaders, the podcast, is proud to support Mighty Moms. Mighty Moms is a community of ordinary people on an extraordinary mission to end childhood hunger in Livingston Parish. You can find out more information by visiting mightymomsgo.org. Black Sheep Creative understands the importance of digital marketing and your return on your investment. It's their aim to provide professional web and graphic design services at a price point that smaller businesses and startups can afford. Get in touch with them on the web at blacksheepcreative.com. Sporting Center in Denham Springs is your one-stop shop for team sports equipment, school uniforms, and promotional goods. Conveniently located next to the Antique Village since 1977. Sporting Center, your business means everything to them because your name rides on everything they do.
Hi, this is Crystal Hardison from Southeastern Livingston Center. I'm the director, and you are listening to Local Leaders, the podcast.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high-fiver? I kind of like the high-five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
We all love the low country lifestyle, which is why we should do our best to protect it. To get insurance that helps you protect your home from whatever the low country throws at you, contact CT Lowndes & Company today. Their local agents can review your coverage to help make sure you're properly protected. CT Lowndes & Company has been helping protect and insuring the low country since 1850. Visit ctlowndes.com to learn more and request a quote. That's CTLOWNDES.com.